Hello everyone, my name is Kaz, and today I'm going to be going through my draft analysis of the MBA Season 8. I played last season in the MBA, Season 7, of the Moonlight division, which I'm currently residing in now, and I ended up a champion. We're coming back to try and get the back-to-back, although I do believe the competition is a lot more difficult. And the team that I've drafted, although I love pretty much every single member, I don't think it's as good as my last team. So, with MBA low tier, how it works is that I get 110 points to pick anywhere between 9 and 11 Pokemon. The highest point being 18, lowest being 1. You can only get a single 18 pointer. And then Terra rules are you get 8 Terra points, and Pokemon that are 5 points and below can Terra. So starting off, I was at 15th pick, which is not a bad point in the draft. I really wanted a Pokemon since the end of last season, which was Screamtail, and I was really happy to try and get it. And of course it got sniped. I'm actually one of the mods now, after I became champion, talking with the commissioner. I ended up getting myself a mod role, so I am a mod of the Moonlight division. So unfortunately for me, someone leaving picked actually left. They wanted Screamtail with me, which hurts, man. So we ended up picking up Hisuian Zoroark for my first mon. I thought it gave me a fantastic speed tier to work around 110. Very fast, a great special attacker, and also you can do some strats with hiding it as other things. It has an amazing typing in normal and ghost, only weak to dark. It gives me some decent resistances and 3 immunities, which is just beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. Coverage-wise, it gets pretty decent coverage. Stuff like on the special side, Flamethrower, Focus Blast, Sludge Bomb. I think it gets Grass Knot, yeah. Icy Wind if I want to be a little bit cheeky. You've obviously got like Psychic, normal Hyper Voice, Shadow Ball, Hex, Dark Pulse, a pretty niche one, but may come in handy. Less on the physical side, but you got stuff like I can Power Herb Dig, which would be really funny, and then like U-Turn and that. And then I get Aerial Ace for some unknown reason. I get set up opportunities with like Calm Mind, Soul Stance, Knot Spot, Agility. Pain Split can be really annoying. Stuff like Will-O-Wisp, Taunt, even Knockoff. So I'm excited. I think this will be a very good Pokemon for my team. So I only had to wait 2 more picks. It was actually the commissioner himself in the Haunch 9. To get my secondary pick, which I ended up picking up Mesprit. I was really interested to use this last season. Hisuian Zoroark was 17 points, by the way, and then Mesprit was 14. Mesprit, I think I've used it once, and it was okay, really good in one game when I used it, and then the rest of the time it was just kind of not really needed. But that was in normal draft, where it takes more of like a utility role. In this, it can be utility, and it can also be like a very offensive, especially with its access to mystical power now. It does mean I have 2 weaknesses to dark types. It's weak to ghost, but I already got an immunity, and then weak to bug, where I've already got a resistance. It gives me a lot of utility and a lot of offensive pressure, which I love. Gives me another U-turner, gives me Stealth Rock, gives me access to screens, Thunder Wave, Toxic. Encore, which is beautiful, another knockoff user, and overall I think it's going to be a really strong part of this team. Spoilers, I may end up dropping a couple mons from this team as I'll go into the end. I'm not entirely happy with some of the aspects of it, but while I have Mesprit, I'm excited to use it. Coming back all the way around to my 3rd pick, we have Klefki. Klefki has the greatest typing in the game in Steel and Fairy, and has Prankster, okay bulk, which you can definitely utilize. You won't really see offensive clef keys, but you never know. I may bring offensive clef key. I'm a loose cannon. I cook a little too hard sometimes. This gives me access to screens, pranks to a rain dance, sunny day, if I want it. I can be like a Carmine Iron Defense stored power set, which I may bring. It's a defogger, a spiker. Access to stuff like Trick Room, more T-Wave, more Toxic, Switcheroo, which is really, really good for the team. I also get Misty Terrain. Maybe that'll come up in a match where I'm very worried about status conditions against my team, where I can just Misty Terrain up. I think it's going to be a fantastic backbone of the team, of being more of that bulky, utility-based Pokemon, which can kind of take a hit, T-Wave something, or set up Rain Dance, set up screens. It's just going to be really annoying for my opponents to deal with, and I'm really excited to use it. Coming in to my fourth pick, we have... I'm blanking on my fourth pick, not going to lie. Why did I grab 4? Araquanid, my boy. My boy Araquanid at 13 points. Looking at my type chart, previously, wanted something that could resist ground and something that could resist fire. So even though I'm bug water due to its ability water bubble, I'm actually resisted against fire types, resistant to those ground types. And overall, even though I've only got 70 attack and 50 special attack, water bubble doubling water type attacks is so strong, and this can be a break for the team. It also gives me access to sticky webs, which I think is really, really solid. No momentum, unfortunately, but it's not really needed. It gives me access to Toxic, a really hard hitter, and a really bulky mon to try and make the team live just a little bit longer. And then obviously sticky webs are just great in any team, really. Really excited to use this, and I think it will be one of the essential backbone pieces for the team. I was then looking to try and get a little more speed, which is when we picked up Kilowattrel. I'm really excited to use Kilowattrel, as I think I've seen it do amazingly well. Momentum in both Volt Switch and U-Turn. 125 speed is just amazing across the board in any meta, really. It does give me another weakness to Rock, which I'm not entirely pleased with, but with its immunities to both electric, ground, and its offensive pressure it puts on teams, I think it's just great overall. More momentum, which we like to see. I really wish it got defog, but unfortunately Scarlet and Violet does not like hazard removal at all, in the slightest. Coming into my sixth pick, we picked up not Quillfish, we picked up Overquill. Really excited to use Overquill. I've seen it a lot in the YouTuber drafts on Scarlet and Violet. It looks really fun to use. 115 in attack, which can mean it's very offensive, and it's got some okay bulk to go around. Fantastic typing in the Dark and Poison. Unfortunately, it doesn't resist Fairy, but only weakness being ground. Can't really complain in that aspect. It gives me access to both Spikes and T-Spikes, as well as Priority and Aqua Jet. It gives me a Rain Sweeper with Klefki, which can be really good into some teams. And just overall, its offensive presence in the team, as well as its bulky utility it can provide, I think it's just really strong for the team. Gives me another Taunt user, which we always love to see, and I could even do like a Destiny Bond set, which would be really funny. Coming into my seventh pick, this is actually a mon that I picked up in Grace. Did a couple of changes in Grace. I actually drafted all of these mons so far, but then in Grace I saw a bio that I really wanted to use last season that was sniped in Mega Glalie. Mega Glalie is a biter. If he was on the playground, he'd bite everyone. Lots of timeout corners, but he's got those chompers. Gives me a base 100 speed, which I really like. 120 in both attack and special attack. The refrigerate is just really hard hitting, especially in this meta. The only slight issue that I have with Mega Pokemon in general, like especially offensive Mega Pokemon, is that because obviously they're holding the Mega Stone, I can't run Scarf with them, which kind of feels like, especially with the pretty abysmal bulk of Mega Glalie, they just bring Scarfers and it just loses. But we can try and work around that. We've got Sticky Webs, we've got options. It does give me another mon that's weak to rock, and like stealth rocks. It can't run heavy duty boots, which is a little annoying, but I think we can try and play around it. We do have probably one of the best defoggers in the meta in Klefki. That pranks the defog and pretty much guaranteed to get it off. And there's nothing like Golden Go that can stop it. So it gives me a lot of offensive pressure, and one of the main reasons I want it was for Freeze Dry. Freeze Dry in this meta is so good. I ended up picking up another mon, which I ended up dropping because I thought it had Freeze Dry and it just doesn't, and it hurts, which was Terra Dugong. It was 2 points as a Terra Captain, and I thought, this can be so good. It gets Terra Blast, you can like Terra Fire, Terra Fairy, anything like that, and then have Freeze Dry, and it just doesn't get Freeze Dry. It's a bad Pokemon. It's just a bad Pokemon. Speaking of Terra Captains, we'll go into my first Terra Captain that I picked up, which was Terra Clorf. We saw Terra Clorf do amazingly last season by the coach Rotom, and I'm really excited. It gives me a Regenerator mon. It also gives me like Anger Shell. I think it can put in a lot of pressure on teams. 75 speed is not the greatest, but gets access to both its Anger Shell as well as Trailblaze, which I think will be really beneficial for the team. I can see a lot of like Terra Grass sets, stuff like that. Also gives me another Stealth Rocker, which currently was only Mesprit, I believe. Yeah, currently only Mesprit, so I do have 2 Stealth Rockers now, which is good. And then it doesn't give me any priority or anything like that, or not a whole lot of utility, but it's mainly going to be like in a breaker role or as just like a stealth rocker, just annoying Regenerator mon. Going into my next pick, we have the tried and true, my baby, the ugly Stunfisk. He is, I stand by it, he's good. I love Stunfisk. Look at that bulk. 109, 84, 99. He is a bulky boy, and I love him. It does give me some similar weaknesses with the Clorf of the Grass, Water, and Ground. But it gives me another Stealth Rocker. It gives me a bulky mon that can take hits. And I believe in Stunfisk. He worked pretty well for me last season, and I love him. Everyone makes fun of me for liking Stunfisk, but he is the GOAT. We then have our second Terra Captain in Gogoat, who I think will be a very strong Terra Captain for me. Pretty bulky, 123 HP, 62 defense, and 81 Spadef. It can be a setup Pokemon. Sap Sipper is amazing, because currently we were slightly weak to Grass with the Clorf and the Stunfisk. Being able to have that Grass immunity I thought was really good. And then being able to get out of the Grass typing, which is not the greatest typing. It's very good like offensively in this meta. A lot of waters, a lot of rocks, a lot of grounds. So being able to tear into more of a defensive or even offensive type, I felt was just really good for it. Gets access to stuff like Milk Drink, Bulk Up. It's got okay coverage. It's not the greatest. It's got, as you can see, a lot of coverage. Aerial Ace, Double Edge, Superpower. the tried and true Earthquake, stuff like this, but a lot of it's not the most hard hitting or usable in this. I didn't know I had Zen Headbutt. I might need that at one point. But yeah, really excited for this pick, really excited to use it. Finally, we had 3 points remaining and an option of getting one more Pokemon. I just kind of picked what I thought was somewhat of the best 3-pointer there, which was Whiscash. I have a ground and water type. Okay, Whiscash is like the only one which I don't really care for this team. I think I might be able to do a funny Dragon Dance thing at one point, but otherwise, he's warming up the bench, boys. It does give me another Spiker and Stealth Rocker. So we do have decent hazards. But as you can see at the end of the team, my removal's abysmal. We've only got Klefki, so it's probably going to be forced in defog every week, which it doesn't particularly want to do. Because look at how weak to rocks I am in some of my harder hitting Pokemon. The Kilowattrel, the Araquanid, and the Mega Glalie, all weak to rocks. Mega Glalie cannot wear heavy duty boots, and the other two don't particularly want to be wearing heavy duty boots. So that is one thing that I think I might change somewhat down the line. I've had a look at a couple changes I could make, kind of waiting for other coaches to drop some stuff to give myself some more options. The only other thing that I do have issue with the team is the fact that I really struggle at breaking steel types. I have nothing really super effective against it except Stunfisk, which I love my boy, though being my main breaker of steel types is a little difficult. And then Whiscash, because even if you look at like the coverage some of these mons get, I kind of, with Hisuian and Zoroark, have to rely on Focus Blast. It does have Flamethrower, but it doesn't do a whole lot of damage to a lot of these steel types. Same with Mesprit. It's something that I have to set up like physically with Fire Punch, or I think, do you not get Focus Blast? No. You get like Drain Punch, or Fire Punch that I'll be doing to break steel types physically. A lot of these don't get anything. Reversal Overquill. Earthquake on Mega Glalie, which hits really hard. High horsepower when I can actually hit it with Cloth. And then EQ with stuff. So I've got a little bit of coverage that can kind of deal with steel types, but it's not really enough per se. Yeah, so this is the team of yours truly, Kaz It's My Life, of the Neo-Spacian Palafins, and I'll see you all in week 1. Take care.